Mikey Spandex,
DMC,
and together we are known as Task Force. And if I love wrestling,
and if you love wrestling,
then together
we love wrestling.
Welcome to We Love Wrestling on the Spot. We are with another participant in the GCW 15 Legend of the Medallion. He is one half of the tag team you may seen on different shows, 205 Live, maybe on AEW.
No AEW, not yet. But thanks for putting that out there in the universe. We're putting it out there.
He is Mikey Spandex, one half of Task Force. How are you doing today, sir?
I am fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good today. So before we start, your tag team partner is going to join us later. But my first question I always ask is, what started your love for wrestling, or why do you love wrestling?
Oh, goodness. That's a very obviously large question. Let's see. I started loving wrestling probably, I guess the better way to answer is how I got into it. I got into it when I was around 4 years old. My brother watched Monday Night Raw every Monday. So he got me into it because I'd watch it with him because I wanted to do everything my brother did because he's my older brother. And we were just like most kids, don't try this at home. We did it anyway. So we were hitting each other with stuff. There's one time I made him bleed because I hit him with a pedigree on like brick floor. So we did some stupid stuff as kids. But I would say the moment I realized I loved this sport was probably when I started doing it. Just more so of just being out there in the crowd and living in that moment is when I realized I loved it. As a fan, I probably realized I loved it as I got older. Especially going to more live events as I got older, that really got me into it. Going to all the NXT shows, seeing that there's a whole community that's into it just as much as I am. But like, I didn't even get really into independent wrestling. I didn't know too much about it until I actually started it. So I've only fully had more knowledge about independent wrestling until about 3 or 4 years ago now. I was Marquise, he calls me a Fed kid. So I grew up watching WWE, and that's all I watched. Monday Night Wars, I believed in the wars. I was loyal to one brand, so I barely knew anything. Marquise was the one. So I was loyal to WWE. He was more loyal to WCW, but he watched both. But he actually, as we started teaming up, taught me a lot about the ins and outs of everything going on. So that's really more so how I got my knowledge of it and understanding of it, which obviously we're always learning, and I'll never truly understand, because just when you think you do, something else comes in and changes everything.
All right. So you said about 3 years you've been knowing about indie wrestling. Mm-hmm. So growing up, pedigreeing your brother to a hardwood floor, can I ask who were some of your favorite wrestlers?
The obvious, basically, if I hit my brother with a pedigree, I love Triple H. We were both giant fans of The Rock growing up. My brother is an even bigger fan of The Rock. It's not even funny. It's insane how much he loves The Rock. One of my absolute favorites as a kid, honestly, was Al Snow. I absolutely hit Al Snow, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, as much as we're not allowed to say it, but it's more so of in the ring. If we're talking in the ring, those are the people I truly enjoyed watching. More so for the aspect of, especially around the time like when I remember watching wrestling matches and can call back matches, it's more so of that ruthless aggression era, because I grew up in that era. So that intensity, seeing that intensity from Kurt Angle, John Cena, Eddie Guerrero, that's what truly captured me and getting me to want to do it. I really enjoyed them more than anything.
So because you said this, I'm going to segue to it because I just remember something. I didn't say it in the intro. You said that ruthless aggression area.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little ruthless aggression a little bit. Saw you on this thing that WWE was doing called Raw Underground.
Oh gosh.
Can you tell us about that experience?
Oh my gosh. So am I allowed to like talk about it, or like how what's our
It's whatever you want to do. This is free open space.
so the way Raw Underground came about is we were booked and hired as extras, as most independent wrestlers are. We are hired as extras to be there. So we were there at the PC during obviously COVID era, PC era, I guess they were calling it. One of the producers comes up to us and goes, "Hey, we need you for a segment." We had no idea what it was. They gave us no clue, nothing. They said, "Hey, meet in this warehouse. Shane McMahon's going to be over there. He's going to give you the rundown, Shane McMahon and Jamie Noble." And we're like, oh, this must be super important if Shane's involved, because we're like, yo, Shane's back? So we're sitting there in this warehouse, no AC. It's hot because it's in the middle of the summer. And we're just like, what is going on? Jamie Noble pulls all of us and all the extras and goes, "Hey, we're doing this new thing. We don't really have a name for it yet." This was before they even named it Raw Underground. He goes, "We don't really have a name for it yet, but we are doing something different. And we're just standing here in front of a ring with no ropes. It's just a ring." And we're just like, what is going on? So they explain what it is, that it's more of an MMA gritty type of thing. And they're like, "We just need guys that are willing to beat the living hell out of each other." That was his exact words. Marquise and I look at each other. We look at Jamie and we go, "All right, we'll do it." And so, because we knew, I was like, yeah, if there's anybody I'm willing to forcefully punch in the face or get punched in the face from, it would be my tag team partner. And we ended up doing it, and it ended up actually going really well, and we had a blast. I mean, I woke up the sorest I've ever been from any form of wrestling in my life, but it was so much fun, and it was such an interesting experience. And what it taught me more than anything regarding wrestling was to always be flexible, always be ready for something, especially in a bigger company like WWE, because you really never know what you're gonna get. You could get a match, you could be a security guard, you could be wrestling in an MMA style fight. It's insane what we've done with them.
That because I just remember I was like, I've seen these faces before, because you guys were booked on the Indiana show, and when I saw it on Raw Underground, I was like, wait a minute, where did I see these? And then I looked, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Task Force, that's who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So let's transition to the event that we're here about, GCW 15. So the Legend of the Medallion. I've seen this medallion. I've had it in my hands. I've worn it on my neck.
You know more than I do. Then I haven't even seen it yet.
The winner of it, from what I found out, will be is like the Money in the Bank. You can challenge for any title, tag team, women's title, the Defender of Humanity title, the World Championship, and you can cash it in at any time. So, and you'll be facing. Let me bring his name up again, because he's been gone for a while here. So you are going up against Mr. Absolutely Edwin. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a great opportunity, honestly. It's one of the few chances, especially. I mean, just look at the medallion. That thing's pretty. So even if I'm obviously, if and when I win it, I'm going to cash it in. But even then, I mean, the time I hold it, it's gonna look pretty dang good. But I'm honored for the opportunity to have this, because you don't normally see tag team guys in tournaments like this. So it's cool that myself and my partner are in it. And you got a guy like Ronnie Bass Jr. in it too. Who's also a tag team guy with First Class. As far as Absolutely Edwin goes, I mean, the man's coming out of retirement for this. So he's obviously taking advantage of a big opportunity too. And he's been talking a lot of trash online, but I'll shut him up real quick, and we'll put him back into retirement.
Oh, Hey, Edwin. We'll have to talk to Edwin about that. But a person being gone for 7 years and then coming back in, you don't know what to expect from him. He's like a real wild card. Are you prepared for that?
I mean, I watched some of his old footage, but it's exactly like you said. He's 7 years out. You don't know if he's coming up with something new. You don't know if he's going to do some of the stuff he did prior to. So I think that goes back to what I said about the Raw Underground stuff. It's one of the big things in wrestling is you need to always be ready, be flexible, always have something ready to face whoever you want. I don't know if he's going to fly around. I don't know if he's going to try to lift me and toss me around. And either way, I've been in both of those situations in a match. So I'm ready regardless, I guess is the better way to put it.
Okay. So I do have to ask this because you said you're going to walk away with the medallion. So being that you are in a tag team, are you going for a tag team gold, or do you have your eyes set to get yourself some singles gold?
It's a tough decision. Marquise and I have talked about it before. We've had multiple discussions as far as what the goal is with us in this medallion. And we both support each other no matter who wins it, even if it comes down to him and I facing each other for it. We've already agreed that even if we end up facing each other, it's still may the best man win. Nobody's going to lie down for the other. Because at the end of the day, that's the bright side of the medallion. If we agree that, yeah, let's go for the tag titles, no matter who wins, we both got a shot at it. And if we go for singles gold, I'm in full support of my partner over at another promotion at Platinum Pro Wrestling. He is the silverweight champion, and I support him 100% for that. He got his singles gold, and I was right there with him when he got it. And we're also at Platinum Pro Wrestling. We're the number one contenders for the doubles. They call it the doubles division versus tag team. But we are also the number one contenders for that. So I don't think the medallion is going to be a fork in the road for us. So regardless if we cash it in on singles or tag gold, that tag goal will always be the main mission for Task Force.
Interesting that you say that, Michael. You said that if you win, that you and your partner are okay with going ahead and, if someone wants to go from singles gold. So I want to know how your partner actually feels. So we're going to bring in the other half.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, we here. We did it.
Yeah, we're gonna put y'all on separate sides. So
yeah,
DMC
Marcus. I have to look at him? Can I look at him?
You can look at.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Because I gotta look this way. I gotta look this way. All right. Yeah.
Proceed.
So we can already put this task on you, Marcus. A little bit of force.
Okay. Well, not to correct you, it is Marquise.
It's
not
DMC.
There is
correct.
DMC
Both of you
is the correct one. Yeah.
Because when you're acknowledging me and my presence in a situation like this, that's what I'm gonna be. Is DMC.
All right, DMC.
Go ahead. What's the question?
So your partner.
First off, thanks for having me on. I know you're trying to conduct business, but I appreciate it. I've listened to this episode. I got to do the traditional podcast formality. So thanks for having me on. So
thank you for coming on.
No worries. All right, Trey, what's up?
So you coming in, your partner said, you both in the GCW 15 Legend of the Medallion. And yep. I let them know anybody who wins that, they can challenge for the men's title, the women's title, the 24/7 humanity title, the tag team titles.
Women's title.
And yep. He said that you two already discussed and have no problems if someone wants to go for a singles championship.
Well, since you're going to tell everybody our business, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll do all of that.
The question. I was answering the question. It's an interview.
No, I mean, this is what it boils down to, because it's 8 men in this promo. I've only seen promos from 4.
There's
so
8.
This is an 8-man tournament, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right. So there's 8 men, and I look at our chances as any better than anyone else. So I don't see why one of us could walk away with that medallion, but why would you go right into the singles bit? Why wouldn't you just say off rip that we're going for the tag bit?
You asking me or you asking?
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Let me do that. So why are you asking? And why are you inquiring about other titles when we should be inquiring about the tag titles? Because isn't that not why we joined? Isn't that why you roped me into like you were already at GCW, so you had your chance at a single. So why wasn't a tag?
One, never had a title opportunity in GCW yet, with the exception of just never had one, with the exception of that tag tournament we did.
Yes.
Two, he asked the question.
Okay.
He asked the question regarding if we are okay with the singles title. So that's why he's asking you about our discussion that we had about the medallion.
Let me add a little bit.
Oh, he's adding.
DMC, he said that you already hold some single gold, so you shouldn't mind him holding some single gold.
I mean, he as well. Matter of fact, since when we were formed as a tag team, he was the first person to hold singles gold. So, I mean, but yeah, whatever.
I don't have that title anymore though.
Yeah, but you did.
I did.
But anyway. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Sure. But this is weird. Okay. I mean, I didn't want to be in this tournament to begin with. You know, I thought we were just, we were just.
That one's on me.
Yeah. Oh, well,
I'll take that
1,000% on you.
That one's
1,000% on you. Yes. So, I mean,
look where it got us. We used all our money to pay Solomon Stone to let us in the tournament, which forced us to open up a fully gimmick store, which we now have new merchandise on to sell t-shirts. I'm not making a cheap plug on a podcast right now about selling our merchandise.
Yeah, why would we do that?
Which we now have.
I would just open up a new year
on the
collection
website
after we just closed our Pro Wrestling Tees store down, and then we're opening under a more independent, more for the wrestler company like Fully Gimmick. Why would I plug something like that? That's crazy.
And the fact that it can diversify your garments for your merchandise.
Yeah, you can get hoodies,
you switch to Fully Gimmick,
tank tops. You don't have to pay $20 for it. You pay, a really small fee, and a bigger chunk of that money for a smaller fee still comes into our pockets if you really support independent wrestling.
Boom.
Considering we're not elite enough for Pro Wrestling Tees. Okay. Anyway,
I feel like we're just completely taking over.
This Saturday, GCW 15, Legends of the Medallion tournament. Right? Did you even run down? I mean, because I guess nobody's doing promos or anything like that.
We've talked about absolutely Edwin.
So let me tell you, okay?
Yeah.
Since no one's doing promos. So I talked to Ron Bass Jr. earlier, who's in the tournament now.
Yes, he is. Late entry. Better late than never, though.
Mickey Spandex, if you are still here in the next 13 minutes, your opponent is coming on. Ed Stone is coming on.
Ooh.
What's the guy?
Edge Stone is coming.
Yes.
So small story about Edge Stone. So was it last year, Dante? Was it last year?
Yeah, last year.
So last year, Task Force was looking for an intern.
Last year, this time, actually.
Yeah, so
the videos are starting to post up.
We were doing secret missions, which it's not so secret anymore. We were looking for a third member. That way we can take on the forefront of Jeremy Gomez and the Metro Brothers. So we were looking for a third member of Task Force, and we hired Edge Stone as an intern, and it went very well up until I told him to seek out a personal ring announcer.
Mikey, a lot of use.
Yeah, I told him to seek out a personal ring announcer for Task Force, which he got us the Young Professor at the expense of nearly breaking his voice and his trachea. So we had to fire him, but I made Marquise fire him because I didn't want him to hurt me. And it's been a while since we've seen him. We haven't seen him since, actually.
Doesn't he got something going on with that Solomon guy?
He works for Solomon Stone now.
I heard they're in cahoots. So
he works for Solomon Stone now.
Yeah. So we kind of dropped the ball on that. He would have been in our corner if we would have held on to him for a year. But it looks like he's going to be in Solomon Stone's corner. I got it. I didn't realize this. I don't know if you realize. I had a little shower thought this morning. You realize Solomon Stone really came up out of this, because not only did you and 6 other idiots paid to be in this tournament, but all you get out of it is the medallion. You don't get the money. You don't get, so he could lose in the first round and he still comes off for however much y'all paid for.
What if we make
round.
a bet with Solomon at the show?
Okay, what's the bet?
To get our money back.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to talk about that. We're gonna have to talk to him at the show about that.
We're gonna do it. Yeah.
I feel like we're on the bottom side of this. And then there was another thing I realized, Mikey.
What?
Since you don't want to go over the card, let's just talk about the tournament, because I am going to announce, because I want the people to be there as early as possible. I will be out within the first 20 minutes of that show. The first round, I am kicking off. I am not waiting. I've waited for so long. So I'm going to announce it right here. You are hearing it right here on We Love Wrestling, that I will be kicking off the first round of the Legends of Medallion tournament against Storm Thomas. Ooh. And I'll be going through, and that's how that's going to go. So I'm going in at number one. We're going to go into the number one spot. Match number one. What match you going in, Mikey? Claim your spot.
I don't know. I got my. What numbers do I have?
You got 1, 2, and 3. There's 4 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's
2,
do
3, and
3
4.
or 4. 3 or 4. I'll flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
Okay. I don't
do 4. You start off with your tag team partner, and then you finish it up, and y'all both advance into the next round.
Trey made the call. 4.
You going 4? Well, that's crazy, Trey, because that's not how this works, brother. Unfortunately, that is not how this works. Mikey, it's no secret that we're on a certain committee, so I'm just going to have to lay the law down right now, man. So if you come in at match 4, I'm going to come in at match 1. We're going to run this just like the NFL. So the top seed is going to play the low seed. Match 1 is the winner of match 1 is going to face the winner of match 4. The winner of match 2 is going to face the winner of match 3. No. It's 1, 4, 2, 3. Top seed, low seed, middle seeds fight. Yep. Follow your football. Come on, Trey, stay with me.
I'm saying he should go in at 3 then, since
you did it, Trey. You just sealed his fate. You just sealed his fate. So good job, Trey.
So you're saying there's potential of a Mikey Spandex DMC rematch.
I mean, in the semifinals.
I mean, you got Angel Fashion to worry about. Don't worry about me.
I don't have Angel Fashion. Remember, I got Absolutely Edwin.
Absolutely Edwin. I got my. Sorry, focus on Storm Thomas too.
It's much. All good, but Trey,
people do these
fun
promos.
Fact. Here's a fun fact. For Task Force, before we even met, Dante Marquise Carter and myself were rivals for the better part of 4 months before we finally started to team up.
October through November, so yeah, or February, not October, February through October. So yeah, all that, whatever that is.
We were quite the rivalry. So you get to see that potentially reignited come Saturday.
Get past Edwin though. I mean, he's no stone. He's no spring chicken. He pops in and out, But at the same time, when's the last time that we've wrestled on a stage like this?
That's true. And Storm's probably the odds-on favorite to win the whole thing.
He's got the crowd behind him. That's his gym.
Wait a minute. Something just came to my head.
Uh-oh.
GCW 14. Didn't y'all run in at the end of a match between Sage Scott and Solomon Aaron Nova?
Aaron Nova, yeah.
So how y'all feel about because Sage Scott had some big boys with him, but y'all came in and y'all cleared house that night.
Well, you want to take this one?
I mean, but there's no secret to our history with Sage Scott and the Midnight Tribe. We've battled those guys in other places throughout this state, so we know their MO. We know what they're all about. So when we saw what they did against Aaron Nova and nobody was there to help out the captain, then he had the task force to come out there that was watching his back. And like I said, that had nothing personal against Sage, nothing personal against the other members of the Midnight Tribe. And there's no kind of, any kind of allegiance right now with the Captain Aaron Nova. It's just, we just saw something and based off of actions from prior experiences that we had with them. And we felt like that was the right thing to do at the time. Now, obviously, Sage is a man of very pointed words, and he's got a lot to say. And one of the things that he likes to say is he likes to say he wants bring the smoke. Who wants to smoke? He would say, bring the smoke. He likes to talk about his big old facts. Well, Mikey, well, tell him what we think about his smoke and his big old facts.
His large factual statements.
His large factual statements, yes.
Elderly, because he's
elderly, yes. Large
elderly part.
Yeah.
Well, here's a large elderly factual statement for Sage Scott. One, we all agree with Aaron Nova. He is not a cruiserweight.
Not a cruiserweight. No way that man is a cruiserweight.
Too dang big. Whatever they're feeding him, they need to stop so he can be a cruiserweight.
God.
2, the Midnight Tribe. I got nothing. That's it. That's all I got. Yeah. Is it this or this or this?
They do something. I don't know.
Something with their. They do. Like there it is.
Yeah.
3.
Midnight Tribe. Shout out to
shout out to Midnight Tribe.
Stop.
No,
we love wrestling here. I got to.
Tribe.
If you go and watch Spotlight number 14, it was Jake St. Patrick. If you say Scott, we will see you next week.
We finally talk about that though. About Jake St. Patrick joining the Midnight Tribe. I did not see that coming.
How about that?
I thought he was a friend.
If Midnight Tribe wants to squash this beef, they know where to find us.
But I thought Jake was a friend.
I guess not. I guess not. I guess when I had Jake slinging, I was throwing his little behind around in the rain up in Jacksonville last year. Maybe he realized he couldn't compete with, so he had to compete against.
I mean, I beat him up quite a bit.
Yeah, probably he got tired of getting his ass kicked by the individuals at Task Force. He had to find somebody to run with it on the team level. So we'll see.
All right. Now, Mr. DMC.
Yes, sir.
If I can ask you, I asked your tag team partner earlier, why do you love wrestling, or what started your love for wrestling?
I would say, man, I think the universal answer is going to be, I loved it my entire life. It was a major influence. It was something that was, brought on. It was introduced to me at such an early age that it was just became an influence. And I'm starting to notice that, like, in all of my major points of, like, me growing up, that wrestling has always been there. I can always think back to, like, when you were – I can't think, like, when people say, like, and what did you do when you were 13? It's like, I don't know when I did when I was 13. It's like, well, what did you do in 98? It's like, 98. That's when Jericho was doing his countdown. Okay, yeah. Like, for some reason, I can associate my timeline of my childhood better with wrestling than I do with the actual years themselves. I don't know if that's like a quirk or a reason why I'm on the spectrum or something, but whatever. But yeah, that's how deep wrestling goes into my, like, relatability in my life. And my mom was a huge wrestling fan growing up in, like, the Greensboro area, so Mid-South. And so, like, her being a big fan into it, and then, from having box seats, or because she, like, worked at a newspaper, so for having, like, box seats at the Norfolk Scope, which was iconic to a lot of WCW moments, and Hampton Coliseum, which is iconic to a lot of WWF moments, and then obviously with DX crossing, and that was a real big thing that happened in my area too. But so it was a significant wrestling town, so it's always just been around, and I think that's always why it just turned into a love. Most people fell in love with cars and girls and things like that, and I just stayed with wrestling.
I'll let that one slide. I'm in love with all three, so I'll let it slide.
I'm talking about at an early age, like your first.
Oh, okay.
Love, you know what I mean?
Okay. I'll go there. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
I think it was the phrasing that came off the wrong way, because I
yeah.
And I was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, like, as a kid. We're talking about, like, when you first, like, loved it. So that's what I was talking about.
Sometimes your first love is a girl. Sometimes your first love is a car. First love is wrestling.
There we go. We'll use that line. There you go.
So since we talking about growing up, I always ask this on one of my spotlights. Tag Team Thursdays, they get their own spotlight. To both of you guys, The Rock or Stone Cold?
I hate this question so much. It changes every time.
For Stone Cold.
All right.
Off the top.
No, you know what? On 3, we just say the first one that comes to mind when he said it. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. The Rock.
Rock. And that's why we're a tag team.
Yep.
Here it is right there. But that was not easy. That wasn't easy.
That was not easy.
That wasn't easy at all.
If you asked me this question 5 years ago, I probably would have said Stone Cold.
If you asked me this question 5 minutes ago, I would have said Stone. It's interchange. All right, because the Rock was a superstar. Don't get it twisted, man.
Mm-hmm.
But Austin was a journeyman, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Austin grinded. Austin, you want to talk about like if the indies were as big as they are now, they were back then. That's what Austin would have been. Austin would have been that indie guy that like that AJ Styles that like grinded his way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like
for that,
like but the level of superstardom he got is why you would call him, you know, in the same name as the Rock was a
I would say they're both definitely like part of my wrestling Mount Rushmore. Like I wouldn't.
Oh yeah,
there's no debate in the two.
It's top four.
Yeah, if they not in your wrestling Mount Rushmore, I don't even want people to talk to me.
Yeah. If you don't acknowledge them, like those two, I mean, I have an interchangeable top 5. That's what I don't have a Mount Rushmore. I have an interchangeable top 5.
Same.
And so like, and they're definitely in there as well. But like, man, I guess it's the way you want to look at it, like, because the influence that the Rock had like that pop. I mean, they both had like that pop culture. Like you could have made Stone Cold references to a non-wrestling fan and they would know what you were saying. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they were all over the place. I think just the Rock just had just a little bit more, man, because he was doing the movies thing, he was doing the Hollywood thing, he was He was like, when he popped up on TV, and I would say the Rock only because of what he did after his career versus what Austin did after his career. Because even after the Rock basically hung up his boots, like there were still times where like homie was drawing in millions and millions of people to shows. So yeah, that's why I would have to give him that. And when I say slight edge, the slightest of edges is why I would give it to the Rock.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer to that. A lot of people refuse to answer it. Some people do. So you know.
I will admit I almost refused to answer.
I did it first, but I was like, why not? And I kind of want to see what your answer was too, Mike.
I appreciate you guys for answering that. So, if you've been watching these, you saw Mr. Spandex. He already put himself over for the GCW Pro Cup, the GCW Legend of the Medallion. So now, DMC, we're going to ask you to do the very same thing for yourself.
Ooh, I get the big screen.
I want you to let us know your social media. Anything, anywhere that anybody can go and support you. Anything you got going on. I just want you to put yourself over for the people.
Well, I'm real easy to find. On Instagram, on Twitter, the handle is InQuisWeTrust. InQuisWeTrust. On both of those platforms, and then on Facebook, I dropped the DMC moniker on Facebook, and so it's just Marquise Carter, but it's still an open one. But it's probably, if you want to follow the wrestling, it's probably just the easier just to go off to Twitter and the Instagram, because the Facebook, I'm real picky and choosy on who I let in on that. So if you want to follow the wrestling journey, it's easy to do that. I know we got that. We got I Can't Be Missed. I know I mentioned it earlier with the fully gimmick stuff. Being an independent wrestler, you got to support us on the same vein. So if you don't mind hitting over at Fully Gimmick, we got some individual gear, we got some team gear, we got some stuff that I would like to try to release on a quarterly basis, almost kind of chic, since we're kind of hype beasting it up. We're kind of changing our look, kind of changing our styles up a little bit. So we're kind of going to a little more into the fashion oriented senses of when we do our releases. So try to drop some designs, kind of got like a winter release, kind of, got our opening right now. So subscribe and tune in on that. And then, you'll find us where we're at, dropping content, and hopefully we'll be on the TV near you. So that's the game.
All right. Now, we've talked to all of the people on Saturday, 7 p.m. Title Match Network. If you're not in the Sanford, Florida area and you can't make it to CrossFit, I want you to sign on to the Title Match Network. If you sign up right now, you get 2 weeks for free.
2 weeks.
Sign up. 2
2 weeks.
That's it. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Watch The Legend of the Medallion. And then before your 2 weeks is up, you can also watch GCW 16, which is Nova Rising. I'm just saying you get 2 shows.
Go back. You can go back, watch 14, the Diamond Cup.
14. Then you can.
It's on there.
You can't watch 13. But you can go to the YouTube page.
Yep. YouTube.
LUV Wrestling. And every match that happened at 13, I posted some clips.
There you go.
There we go.
Let's see, anything else? Guys, any last words? Any last words?
I mean, best of luck to you, Mikey. I ain't gonna be able to see you until Saturday because I know we got a lot going on. You know, I love you. And I talked to while you were doing your thing when I had to go away, I had to talk to management. They didn't approve of my bracket idea. They said don't be trying to go over there and putting yourselves over. So we'll try. We'll find out. I guess when we get there, they'll tell us in the back what the bracket, with how the layouts and stuff like that is going to be. So it's going to be a surprise to us just as much as a surprise to the fans. So I guess we'll see the live audience on Saturday, and we'll see, like you said, we'll see you online if you're watching it.
Absolutely.
You never know. The evil GM may do another flip, and they may be facing each other in the first round.
He does what he does. So
that would not surprise me, though.
We're there. So, but at the end of the day, whether it's going to be me with the medallion around my neck, or if it's going to be Mikey with the medallion around his neck, whether if he wants to go tag, or if we want to do the singles thing to branch out our careers, he knows I support anything that he does, and I know he supports anything that I do. It's nothing but love. But at the end of the day, if he is standing across from me, just like he is for me, we've done it before. We've done it for a whole hour, and I got no problem kicking his ass to advance into the final if I need to. So I'll see you on Saturday, partner.
March, baby.
Hey, this match probably just needs to happen because when tag teams go at it, they give extra for the tag team partner, so you put that little oomph on it. But Task Force, I'd like to thank you guys for giving us this time and joining us to do this spotlight and even talking about the GCW 15 show. Wish the best of luck to you guys. To everyone watching, you know me, I'm Terry. And like I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet.
Hi to you. Hey guys, how you doing? You should be here.
You should.
Shame on you, but have a nice day.